Hello, students. Welcome to our social science discussion on history first lesson. So today we are going to discuss about a rise of nationalism in Europe. Already three parts we have completed. Today look at which part of Europe where we could find the emergence and starting and beginning of nationalism. Therefore, it's very important. We will start with France. So France was the first country, not only in Europe, but entire world, where we find emergence, beginning of a nation state, and demands for that. That's today. Today our topic is the rise of French Revolution and idea of a nation. Because the idea of nation and nation state, that idea was that originated in France. So first a clear expression of nationalism. First clear expression of nationalism began in France during 1789. That's during French Revolution. So that time, the France was a full-fledged territorial state. I mean, with their boundaries clearly defined. They have their countries, nation state. That state was already clearly defined. Boundaries were clearly defined. Under who? Already it's an absolute monarch. Absolute monarch, you know that what is absolute monarch. Monarch is there. Absolute monarch means the decision, the changes monarch brings their society, their kingdom. For that they would never discuss with, maybe sometimes they do not discuss and consult with people. They take decisions, people needs to follow that. This is the way, absolute. If anyone violates the rules and regulations, if anyone is against monarch, the severe punishment would be given. Military was largely used to suppress people. No voice was allowed. No one could object. No one could even say anything against monarch. So brutal, so powerful was monarch. So such sometimes it is become authoritarian. One person gets all power. Authoritarian, despot, we could call it despotic. So absolute monarch was there. But after French Revolution, what happened? Power was shifted. Transfer of sovereignty power was transferred from monarchy to a body of French citizens, a group of French citizens. After getting power, they proclaimed, they declared, they said openly that it is not monarch. It is not monarch. They are not nation. It is a people of country. They constitute. They are nation. People constitute nation, not monarch, not king, not queen, anyone. Therefore, people of the country, nation would decide future of a nation. They will shape destiny of our nation. In this way, they proclaimed. So from the very beginning, you can see many changes they brought. These revolutionaries, they brought changes, various practices and measures they brought. Why? To create a collective identity, a sense of collective identity. People should feel that I belong to France. They told that this is far France. How they created? They told father, France is our fatherland, la patrie. You are citoyen, les citoyen. You are citizen of that country. So therefore, you are this France is our fatherland. You are citizens. Therefore, we all enjoy as a community equal rights under constitution. Equal rights under constitution. All are equal and before law. Then they changed their flag. The flag that was used by royal monarch, that was monarch, the flag that is called royal standard, it was replaced by their tricolor flag, France. Then under monarch there was parliament, it was known as estate general that was replaced by which national assembly. To national assembly, people, only active citizens, they had voting power. Voting power was given to them. So we that created a sense of collective identity. Then new flag was introduced, tricolor flag. Then their parliament was, the name was changed into National Assembly. Only active citizens had voting power. Active means a person who is about 25 years, and property, that the person who pay the tax. So women and men who could not pay the tax, they were not allowed to pay, not allowed to vote in elections. Then hymns, national anthem was composed, pledge oath was prepared, martyrs commemorated, the persons, the people, who lost their life for their nation state during French Revolution. Many people lost their life. They were declared martyrs. Their birth, their death were commemorated, celebrated, and everything in the name of nation. Why? To create a collective identity that we all belong to one nation. Then the different areas have a different administrative system. Everything were abolished and made a centralized administrative system. Next, centralized administrative system. We have our central government. They rule across. That is all India, all our country is under central government. A centralized administrative system was put in place, introduced. That also. Then we see there uniform laws for all, not uniform civil code, but uniform laws for all people belong to one nation, so all had to follow same rules and regulations. Before law, all are equal. Uniform law, rules and regulations for everybody, that also was introduced. Then in the customs duty, the tax, customs, within the France, you can see even one region to another. From one region to another, there's if you go for trade, business, you need to pay tax. A custom duty was there. Internal custom within that was abolished. Then uniform custom duties and was introduced. Uniform custom duties was introduced. The system of weights and measures. Weights, 1 kilogram. If 1 kilogram is 1,000 gram, if it is this much, in some areas this is this much, some areas this much, some area will be this much, 1 kilogram. So these difference, how we can you do business then? In different areas within a nation, country, we have different weights and measures. Everything have been abolished, and the uniform weights and measures were introduced. Then people speak different dialects of French, even other languages also. The language that was spoken in Paris and around Paris, that was taken, that was declared as a national language. That is a language of France. That is a French. That time French was largely spoken in and around Paris and in some areas. All other parts, they had different dialects and languages. All they were stopped, abolished, and encouraged French to encourage people to speak French. So this in the name of a nation. In this way, they were creating a feeling for a collective identity as a nation. So having done all these things in their home country, now French revolutionaries turned to other parts of Europe. Okay, now we became nation state. Now it is our mission, it is our duty, it is our responsibility to go to other parts of Europe and liberate people from despotic ruling and administration and regime of monarchies. Now they send army, they began to discuss, and they want to change whole Europe. This is how France became first nation state in Europe. therefore not France and Switzerland was there. No, now we became, after French Revolution, we became nation state. Therefore, it is now our, we brought a lot of changes in our country, our nation. Therefore, it is our duty and responsibility, it is our mission and destiny of French nation to liberate people of Europe from other monarchies, despotic rulers, authoritarian rulers. This news reports of French Revolution and changes happened there, occurred there, spread to other parts of Europe. There are people in other parts of Europe, what had happened to them? Slowly, they began to come together, mainly students and educated middle class. They came together, began to make small clubs, clubs, club coming together, Jacobin clubs, for discussing about the changes happened in France. Why can't we bring the changes here? So there many parts of Europe you can see that many Jacobin clubs were formed to discuss and bring changes. They were the one, they who, their activities, their campaigns, their programs actually paved the way for French armies to come to their area to liberate them from monarchy. They welcomed French armies. French army then moved to Holland from there because everywhere they got welcome, where they were received with a warm hand. They they went to Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, much of the Italy, all these were come under. They brought changes there, or they through the monarch. The French army became more and more French armies while they were going to other parts of Europe. What they were taking them, they were saying that nationalism, you become nation state, we will help you, we will throw your monarch and make people the leaders of the nation. People would become the representatives and leaders of the nation. We will become nation state. In this way, France and revolutionary guard and their armies went to different parts of Europe and helped to uh, create nationalism, idea of nationalism in other parts of Europe. So now this is after Napoleon. This map is after Vienna Congress, 1850, when Napoleon was defeated. So that we will discuss later. Look at what the changes when Napoleon. This is the time Napoleon became. It is when Napoleon became ruler of France. These changes happened in other parts of Europe. Most of the parts, most of the areas in Europe came under his control. Then he began to introduce changes, reforms, administrative changes in business, in administration, everywhere he brought changes. He brought changes, but he again turned to monarchy. He became a strong, a powerful, despotic monarch. Although he brought a lot of changes in administration in other areas, revolutionary changes, but he retained that turned France into a monarchy. That's it. So, okay, that we'll discuss also later. Here we need to stick to main point that what are the changes. He whole system were changed. He brought rational, efficient changes in the system, whole system. It is called the Civil Code of 1804. 1804, he brought civil code. It also came to be known as Napoleonic Code. 18 note. What are the changes? He told that privileges was abolished. Merit quality would be decided not on birth, but everybody are able to achieve what they would like to do, not on the basis of birth. Not on the basis of birth, that is, you were born to some families, royal families, or aristocratic family, everything was abolished. Everybody is equal before law. All are equal before law. That was established. Then people got right to property, In this way, this code, once it was after it was established, introduced in France, it was exported other parts of Europe. wherever the French army went, whichever part that came under Napoleon, he introduced all this Napoleonic code, or otherwise known as civil code. It has been introduced there, where in Dutch Republic, Switzerland, Italy, Germany, everywhere. He simplified administrative divisions. The administration was so complex. He just simplified that. Abolished the feudal system. The peasants had to work for aristocracy, had to pay tax. Even they had to freely work for them in their land. So all these changes he brought there, feudals. Freedom. So freedom, he freed peasants from serfdom, slavery like agriculture system is a slavery like. You have to work in aristocratic, their land of lands were owned by aristocracy, you need to work in their farm. Manual dues was there, you had to pay the tax to aristocracy. Guild restrictions, there's a business and in manufacturing, in town and cities, industrial relations, then there are rules and regulations were there in manufacturing. So these guild restrictions, lot of restrictions were there. He removed that, made it easy. Business, everything became easy for now, easy for people. He improved transportation and communication. Transportation and communication he improved. Peasants, artisans, workers, new businessmen, everybody, all, they welcomed, they enjoyed a new freedom. Business and small scale producers, the small scale producers and businessmen, they realized a uniform law. Before now, every division, every area, every region, small areas within nation, within a kingdom, they had their own rules and regulations regarding tax, custom duties, weights and measures. He abolished everything. He brought a uniform laws. You in standardized weights and measures, uniform weights and measures were introduced. Common national currency. There were many currencies within a monarch. There were many currencies. So he abolished all this large number of currencies, then brought a common national currency for each nation state this way. This way, all these administrative changes he brought actually facilitated movement and exchange of goods and capital from one region to another. Before it was not possible, with a lot of restrictions. When all the restrictions were removed, everything movement of and exchange of goods and capital from one area to another began to move easily and freely. So this is the way. This is the way how he brought changes in Europe. But these changes did not last long. You understand? He did not. Although many areas he conquered. In the beginning, people were very happy. They welcomed French army. They thought that we are going to get freedom from, we are going to get liberation from monarch. Many areas, many places like Brussels, like Holland, Switzerland, then Brussels, Mainz, Milan, Warsaw. In all these areas and cities, French armies welcomed us. That they thought that French armies, they are bringing liberty, they are bringing freedom for us. So the enthusiasm, they were more happy, they enthusiastic too. And they, in the beginning, it was their enthusiasm, happiness that French army is coming and help us to liberate ourselves from monarch. Monarch would be thrown out. But that was only in the beginning. Slowly, that enthusiasm changed into turned hostility and happiness, because administrative changes he brought, that was good, but it could not match with political freedom. It could not go hand in hand with political freedom. Administrative changes he brought, that was good. Business, industries, everything flourished. Uniform weights, measures, national currency, everything. But he did not give political freedom. That means you could not criticize him, you could not say anything against him. So all these political freedoms were taken away slowly, slowly by Napoleon and French armies. So in the beginning they welcomed, now they became unhappy with French army. What's the main reason? Taxation was very high, increased taxation, censorship. Censor means you can't write, you write, but you cannot write against government. If you do that, you would be arrested and put in jail. You would be punished and forced to conscription into our French army. Whether you like it or not, you need to serve in army. Compulsory army service. So all this made people of Europe unhappy. They began to feel uneasy, and they think that instead of freedom they are bringing, now they are pressing us more and more to the wall. They are reducing. They are making us slave. That means advantages they brought actually was what happened. It was compared to political freedom and increased taxation, censorship, and compulsory army service. Everything actually undermined the advantages he brought there. This is the way. This is the way how French and French army, after they became nation states, and they brought changes in other parts of Europe, especially under the leadership of Napoleon Bonaparte. In the beginning, people were helping, people were welcoming, and they were happy with the decisions and changes, administrative changes he brought. But in the last, what happened? All these, although he brought changes, people became unhappy because they did not have political freedom. So this is the way how we can explain the role of France and French Revolution in bringing changes in other parts of Europe. That is a role of French Revolution and idea of nationalism. France actually brought the idea of nationalism to other parts of Europe. Read the lesson, and if you have any doubts and clarification you need, then you can come and call me, and I will we can discuss in detail. So thank you for coming and attending class. See you again on next video.